You probably heard or thought the statement, the government sucks. I mean, just look at this graph from pewresearch.org. The graph shows the public trust in government starting in 1960 to 2022. As you can see, approximately 75 Americans say that they trust the government to do what's right in 1960. That's really high. But then you see that big drop after 1965. After that, trust in government kept declining and remained low for most of the 21st century. This decline in our trust in government, according to the National Library of Medicine, or NIH.gov, last accessed on April 1st, 2023, stems from our negative perception of the economy, scandals associated with Congress, and increasing public concern about crime. If we distrust the government so much, we need to make sure we are informed of what our government is doing, so that we may hold them accountable. Knowledge is our best defense against ignorance. If we continue to remain ignorant, we become more susceptible to governmental control, in which one day we will be made to believe 2 plus 2 makes 5, and we will know otherwise. It's a possibility that we cannot ignore. So, I did some research, and I'm here today to inform you of what I've learned. We must stay informed and involved in our government, so that we are the ones leading rather than being led. First, we'll talk about the problems of being uninformed about our government. Second, we'll talk about how we can stay educated and involved. Let's begin with the problems of being uninformed about our government. If we remain ignorant to what our government does, we'd never know what to think for ourselves. According to govinfo.gov, last updated on March 2nd, 2016, James Madison once said, "A popular government without popular information or the means of acquiring it is but a prologue to a farce or a tragedy, or perhaps both." Knowledge will forever govern ignorance, and people who mean to be their own governors must arm themselves with the power which knowledge gives. James Madison is warning us about the dangers of ignorance, but unlike his time, we have readily access to information with just a touch of our cell phones. Yet, we don't take the time to inform ourselves. So, I'll be talking about a few of the problems of being uninformed. First, policies are constantly being added and adjusted that many of us don't know about, and for some, we may not even agree with. For instance, according to BadgerHerald.com, last updated on April 25th, 2017, on March 28th, Trump signed an executive order dismantling Obama's climate change protections. To be more specific, that executive order would strike down the Clean Power Plan. In the words of New York Times last updated on September 25th, 2016, if the plan is struck down, the United States, the world's largest carbon polluters over the centuries, would lose its main tool to remove greenhouse gas emissions. It doesn't just stop there. According to WashingtonPost.com, last updated on June 9th, 2020, the Trump administration is ending a 5-year ban on the practices, which includes shooting swimming caribou from a boat and targeting animals from airplanes and snowmobiles. What's more, with the end of the ban, hunters will be able to bait bear traps, killing denning bear cubs and wolf pups, as well as use various methods that are condemned by the environment and wildlife protection groups. Many Americans don't know about these changes yet many of these policies can greatly impact our nation. Second, we're constantly exposed to fake news. You probably heard the phrase fake news before, but let me tell you what it actually is. Fake news are fabricated stories that are intended to mislead us, and some of these stories can be propaganda. Here's an example. According to LibGuides.com, last updated on March 21st, 2023, in 2016, a story circulated that Pope Francis made an unprecedented and shocking endorsement of Donald Trump for president. Its title states, "Pope Francis shocks world, endorses Donald Trump for president, releases statement." If you saw this for the first time, you'd probably believe it. It even went viral in 2016, but it's fake. According to factcheck.org, last updated on October 24th, 2016, the website that published the article, WTOE5 News, owns up to being a fake news website. in its About page. WTOE5 News is a fancy news website, it says. It also wasn't the first time the Pope was involved in a fake news article. In the words of ABC10.com, last updated on December 15, 2016, in 2015, another fake website claimed that Pope endorsed Bernie Sanders. We have been spoon-fed with this warped sense of reality. We begin to believe events that has never occurred. Lies became our perceived truth. But how can you stay informed and involved, especially with fake news everywhere? Well, there are various ways we can stay informed and in turn involved, but we're going to talk about just a few. First, we can stay updated with what's going on in the country by simply utilizing the summaries and notifications from trusted websites or news platforms, such as govtrack.us, causes.com, or any website with a domain .gov. The website state.gov is also a good place to find various selected U.S. government information websites that are both reliable and trustworthy. Second, we can stay informed of what's going on in the country by getting involved in the political issues and processes by attending governmental meetings or watching the live streams of it. By attending the meetings, you get to see what your elected official is stating. Furthermore, according to electionseason.co, last update on January 13, 2020, depending on the meeting, giving public testimony during a public comment period may be a available option. This allows you to tell decision makers your opinion regarding the policy so that you can be involved in the decision-making process. According to YouTube video Crash Course U.S. Government and Politics, last updated on January 23, 2015, you can also call your representatives, or you can simply email them. Last and most importantly, you can get involved by making an informed vote for a representative who you believe will strongly support your concerns and ideas. It is one of the most important ways we can participate in our government, but many Americans believe their vote don't matter. This is untrue. Your vote matters. When you vote, you are taking an active role in deciding issues. As Act Now last accessed on April 3, 2023 writes, if you don't vote, you won't have a say in how our country is run. There is better representation of what we want if more of us voted in each election, for a better life agreed upon by more Americans rather than the few. We have fought for this right, so let's use it for a better community. Now that we are informed, let's conclude this. First, we talked about the problems of being uninformed about our government. Second, we talked about how we can stay educated and involved. So, we must ensure that our system of government stays resilient, protecting our rights and liberties. Like George Orwell once said, freedom is the freedom to say 2 + 2 = 4. Thank you.